Listen-only mode.
Series. Today we're going to be talking about solder stencil NanoCoatings. Thank you for joining us. My name is Edward Hughes. I'm the CEO of Aculon, and joining me today is Mario Gattuso, who is our Senior Business Development Manager and an expert in the nanocoatings and particularly on stencils. So just a couple of logistical things before we get going. This will be recorded. It will be available to you afterwards. We'll be sending you a link of this recording as well as a copy of the presentation and have the ability to obviously connect with us afterwards. If you have questions during this webinar, please go to the GoToMeeting question tab, type them in, and we'll try and leave as much time as possible at the end to address those specific questions. Again, thank you for joining us. I hope everybody is well and safe. This is obviously a very unusual time in terms of this pandemic, the scope, the speed, what's at stake. Makes it very challenging to be doing the normal things. Everybody, including our companies, having to adapt to working from home. And we thought this was a good time to basically reach out to you and talk to you about some of the things. Fortunately for us, we are deemed as an essential company. We're a specialty chemical company that works in a variety of industries, including supporting many medical device companies. But, you know, we want to be there for you when we come out of this. And our goal basically is fairly straightforward. We enable customers to make better products by being an innovative, fast, and responsive developer and producer of best-in-class surface modification technologies. We believe that together we create winning products. During this webinar, I'll give you a quick overview of Aculon. We'll talk a little bit about some of the nanocoating benefits. We'll talk about some of the studies that have been done to document performance improvements and introduce you to a new technology we are starting to roll out. I'll also share with you some bonus material, which things that may be interesting to you in your space. And then we'll tackle the Q&A. So firstly, we are a surface modification company that works in a broad variety of fields. We work in electronics, we work in consumer products, medical devices, oil and gas applications. We were founded in 2004, and what we do is we develop and produce solutions that modify a broad variety of surfaces, metals, glass, polymers. We functionalize those surfaces with a number of different functionalities depending on what the customer is looking to do. And our treatments are all easy to apply. They are not done in vacuum deposition chambers. Often no cure required. They're safe, they're non-toxic, and we offer a number of green options as well. We differentiate ourselves from some of the larger kind of specialty chemical or coating companies by basically providing innovative treatments and working with customers to solve problems. We have three divisions. The electronics division, we'll talk about one particular product in that today, oil and gas, and the specialty markets that include the medical area. Our business model is to produce chemistry. We do some treatment of parts. We don't treat people's stencils except for in a test methodology or testing environment. So in this case, we would be providing the chemistry to either stencil houses or directly to the users. We've got over 35 patents. We've worked on thousands of applications, invested hundreds of thousands of hours learning how to be experts in surface modification. We've got over 100 products. Our people are smart, numerous chemists with PhDs, master's degrees, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. And we're based in San Diego, California. That's where we do our lab and development work as well as our manufacturing. And then we have offices around the world. As a company, we started using the technology we use on NanoClear, the stencils, which is self-assembled monolayer with phosphonates, and we've built a series of additional technologies around that, such now that we've got a suite of technologies that give us a broad group of products that we use in a variety of industries, and such that we can deliver a variety of functionalities to that. As I say, from a technology standpoint, most of these are easy to apply. Some of them can be dipped or sprayed, or in the case of the stencil treatment, it is wiped on. We do rotor coating, and we can modify the parameters around this to basically optimize the treatment formulation. Everything we do is relating to surface modification. We started as a nanoscale treatment company, and we've built a series of expertise and platforms into this marketplace. Today we're going to be talking about the metal treatment marketplace and electronics in particular. As I say, we're organized by 3 businesses, and we have a number of things in the electronic space. NanoClear, which is our #1 global stencil coating technology. NanoProof, where we treat a variety of printed circuit boards, provide moisture barriers and other benefits for keeping water away from circuitry. We have a business creating epoxy control, where we keep epoxy away from parts of and components. It can be on semiconductor packaging, or it can be on lead frames. And then we do a lot in the anti-fingerprinting area, where we treat surfaces for laptops and tablets and smartphones, etc., where to reduce the visibility of the fingerprints. And then we're doing some in semiconductor test pens. So let's now talk about Stencil NanoCoatings. What are they? They're extremely thin, flux repellent films that are applied to the bottom side of the stencil and to the aperture walls. And in doing so, you get an improvement in the quality of the print, you get better yields, you get better transfer effectiveness, you boost the productivity of the line because you are taking less time doing under wiping. You'll see that there's a dramatic improvement in the number of prints per cycle to each wipe. It's less time, obviously, downtime for paper changes as you're using less of that. And as a result, you've got less rework and lower consumables, so you basically reduce the cost. What we do has basically been demonstrated to increase yields and output on SMT lines. It's a very straightforward technology that basically is cheap, works every time, and it's been a very reliable thing for us. We'll show you a couple of examples of basically QFNs. Here's an example where on the left-hand side, you can see the QFN that hadn't had NanoClear applied to the stencil. You can see there's a little bit of slumping and connecting between the two deposits. And whereas on the right-hand side, where NanoClear, you've got nice crisp deposits. And obviously, that's kind of what you're looking to do. Here's another example from a 0.5 millimeter QFN. And again, on the right-hand side, you can see much crisper looking shapes and deposits. And in this case, you'll see down below that what we've done is we've basically extended the print cycle from basically 3 prints to now 5 prints. And that's a wet-dry wipe system. If you're doing the wet-dry vac wipe system, it went from 6 to 10 prints. So obviously, you're getting a significant amount of improvement in throughput because you've got less downtime and you've got better quality going on your printing process. To try to physically demonstrate what's going on, you'll see we added a UV tracer basically into the flux, and you can see without NanoClear, it's being smeared around the bottom side of the stencil quite significantly, and a lot of it there. Whereas with NanoClear on the right-hand side, you can basically see, very little flux is getting transferred to that. So you're getting cleaner, better prints, and in this case, this was 10 prints to a 1 wipe cycle. This technology we've had in the marketplace for a number of years, and we've got many significant and sizable users out there that demonstrate and use this technology. It's been well respected. It's won numerous awards. It's won numerous had numerous cover stories written about it, and it's very efficient from a cost standpoint. And maybe Mario, if you'd like to walk us through this cost and savings payback calculator, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Edward. That was a great introduction. So we have on our website, we have a simple calculator that you can use. It's downloadable, or you can work directly on our website. We'll include links and a downloadable file where you can enter in your exact information. So Edward, if you can move to the next slide. There are sections where you can put in the cost of simple rework. You can insert your cost of your wiper paper, the cost of complex rework, the cost of your wiper solvent. You can adjust all of these inputs, the costs, the usage, your labor rates, et cetera, and then you can put in estimations for changes after using the NanoClear, and it'll pop out what the changes, the savings and improvements will be. So on this slide here, we have an actual case. This is from a customer that implemented NanoClear across their production line. And this is the calculator after they entered the before and after metrics. So these are not estimates, these are actual numbers. So they calculated their improvement in defects, the improvement in wipe frequency, the reduction in simple and complex rework, and this gave them a set of information where they got back the payback after the number of prints to get payback on the cost of the NanoClear, which they determined was 43 prints, and the NanoClear had essentially paid for itself. And this gave them a number that at the end of the year from implementing NanoClear across their line, and this includes the cost of purchasing the NanoClear, they saved $395,000, added 52 hours of additional uptime, and an additional 4,680 additional PCBs assembled per year. So that's real impressive, and this tool is available to you as well. So on to the next page. So we have recently launched, due to popular demand, NanoClear Spray. So NanoClear is now available in a sprayable format. Gives you it's based on the same proven technology. It offers improved solder transfer for fine pitch apertures. It is applied at the stencil house. It has proven improved durability. It is guaranteed to treat the entire aperture, and there's no concern due to the thin nature of the coating of any paste contamination. You will never have any chipping or cracking or delamination issues with this coating. And like the wipe on NanoClear, it can be reapplied anytime and does not require a cure. You can even mix and match. You could take a NanoClear spray stencil and you could apply a NanoClear wipe after the fact if you needed to treat that stencil again. We are offering currently for qualified customers qualification treatment of stencils. So if you would like to send us your stencils to coat with NanoClear spray for consideration, please reach out. I will be sending my information after this webinar. We will be happy to receive your stencils, coat them, and send them to you for treatment. And here we have some information comparing NanoClear spray to NanoClear to one of the main competitors out there, the NanoSlick Gold, which is an alternative traditional coating that is sprayed and then thermally cured. As you can see, both of the NanoClear and NanoClear spray go down extremely thin, 2 to 4 nanometers thick, which means that there's absolutely no impact on the aperture redesign. The alternatives are rather thick, so they do require an adjustment in aperture size. Unfortunately, because they're a traditional coating, the competitive coating does have problems in the field with coating, chipping, cracking, and flaking. And unfortunately, once that happens, the stencil needs to be discarded. Whereas with both NanoClear spray and the traditional NanoClear wipe, if that coating should wear off over time with use, they can very, very simply be retreated, or you can continue to use them in an uncoated state just fine. And so on to the next page to detail some of the reasons why you would want to focus on utilizing NanoClear and consider staying away from some of the thicker competitive coatings. After a few years of experience with these thicker nano coatings for stencils, it's become pretty well apparent that they're not as durable as everyone thought they were initially. Most customers are seeing pretty significant cracking and chipping and flaking of the thicker spray coatings. And this is a problem for several reasons. Aside from the fact that it's not as durable as everyone thought, these coatings coming off can contaminate the paste. once the stencil coating is damaged, they need to be discarded. In fact, the leading U.S. stencil houses have discontinued offering these because of the recurring issues. So as mentioned in the previous slides, we are offering our own spray version for those of you that are concerned with these issues and are looking for a spray applied coating that mitigates these issues. So to cover NanoClear's reliability and durability in these next two slides, both the wipe and spray variant of NanoClear are monolayer, so it will never crack, flake, or chip like you might see with a competitive coating. It will never contaminate the paste, and the stencils will never need to be discarded due to NanoClear. As long as the stencil is mechanically sound, you can recoat with NanoClear as many times as you need. NanoClear will never require a stencil redesign, and it's extremely reliable, both in the wipe and spray format. It is a self-limiting application, so it is always going to be a high quality 2 to 4 nanometer thick monolayer coating within the apertures. And if there's any concern over whether the stencil is properly coated, we sell a simple NanoClear test pen, which is simply a dine pen that can be wiped across the stencil in a matter of 2 seconds and is a very, very quick black and white test on whether it is coated. Here we have some data on the durability of NanoClear. We have information on some best practices for ensuring a long NanoClear coating. So we do recommend that the right cleaners are used and that a soft pocketed wiper is utilized with NanoClear. And as you can see from this data, if a soft pocketed wiper is utilized with NanoClear, it will outperform the competitive technologies for up to 70,000 prints. So we do recommend utilizing a soft pocketed wiper and non-caustic cleaners, and you can be assured that the NanoClear is going to last for an extremely long time. To get into some of the details on the best practices, and this is based on 8 years of production and multiple research projects, to cover what we talked about just a moment ago, we do recommend a soft pocketed wiper, and some of those examples would be an Eco Roll or a Hyper Clean wiper. Or you can reach out to us if you have a specific question about your wiper, and we can comment on whether it might be a concern or not. We do recommend that a solvent wipe is utilized rather than a dry wipe for the long-term durability of the stencil. You should utilize a pH neutral cleaner or an organic based cleaner. We never recommend caustic cleaners, are definitely a no-go. And also, you should take advantage of the fact that you need to clean your stencil less once it's been nano-coated. So you will find that you're able to reduce the under stencil wipe frequency, and that will not only increase your throughput, but also increase the lifetime of the coating on the stencil.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I like to tell people it's like you don't take your harsh scrubbing brush that you use on your cast iron cooking pan to your Teflon coated pan. You basically take a nice soft wiper on this Teflon pan. So if you basically took a really abrasive piece of paper or harsh cleaning to that Teflon pan, you would damage it. So similar kind of thing. Obviously now you've changed the surface of the stencil such that you can use a softer paper and you can use it much less frequently. So that's good. So NanoClear has been a good product. It's been #1 in its category for a while. It's not just for fine pitch stencils. We kind of like to say it's easy, it's cheap, and it works every time. So if you're having any kind of printing dysfunction or whatever, then I think this is a very simple thing. We work with a number of paste companies, and they basically say, they often send out to companies that are having problems with paste. They'll send out a box of NanoClear and just say, try this on the stencil and see if that solves the problem, and it does. So it's kind of like the doctor giving someone a couple of Advil and saying, take this, go home, you'll feel better. So this solves most of the printing problems that are out there. So let me cover a couple of different things that may be of interest to you, because I know some of you engineers work on a wide variety of things. Our NanoProof series of products is designed to basically provide water protection from humidity to full immersion. And it's been around for about 4 or 5 years with one number of products. We've actually kind of been, interestingly, as we've gone up the performance roadmap over the years, we've continued to improve basically the barrier type properties for that. And we've added some additional features. We've added push-through connectivity. So if you need to connect to your board, you can push through the coatings. We've added flexibility, because obviously now a lot more circuitry is becoming flexible and needs to bend 180 degrees. And we've added some green VOC exempt options to this as well. So providing a number of different things that could be useful. Obviously, the goal here is reducing the product returns because of water damage, increasing yield because these treatments are able to be reworked after coating. They don't require masking. The coatings are safe, non-toxic, and again, they're affordable. The selection process depends a bit on the treatment you choose. We've got a variety of those, but we have options for spray, jet, or dispense, and even some dip. And we've run a bunch of testing, and maybe Mario, you can just kind of explain this chart a little bit to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. So what was done here was this IPC test. The board is essentially coated with the coating and is then inserted into salt water. It is powered up, and the current leakage is then measured. And so you can see on the right side of the screen, there is a this is measuring the current leakage. As these are powered up and in water, the coated board is ticking along somewhere around 100 nanoamps, and 500 nanoamps. Any spike above that 500 nanoamp is considered a failure threshold. So these are well below the failure threshold. They are not leaking current, and you can see that post-test, the test comb is nice and clean copper. If that was failed, it would be totally oxidized and green and bubbling. So it's a really good pass or fail test of these coatings.
Okay, thank you. Quickly, we do anti-fingerprint coatings. We've developed a range of technologies that allow you to basically hide the fingerprint, so you can see on the right-hand side of the image an untreated versus the one that's got the Aculon AFP on it. These are also easy, clean applications. So if you're looking at the cases or appliances, etc., very good opportunity to do that. We've also developed a range of sustainable treatments. Obviously, a lot of our customers are looking for that. So we have VOC exempt options. We use PFA-free products. We're obviously eco packaging friendly. So a number of things to obviously to be good citizens here. So in conclusion, NanoClear is the #1 nano coating globally. We're a platform technology company that makes customers' products better. We like to think we're surface solution experts. We've got a long history of working with customers to solve problems, and we've developed a broad range of capabilities and products and IP relating to that. So let me now turn to questions, and let me see if I can open this box up here. Okay. Can any of your coatings protect the oxidation of a copper surface? Mary, you want to take that?
Yeah, so we definitely have coatings that can protect from oxidation of a copper surface. Which coating we select and the exposure conditions would dictate kind of where we go from there, but we can certainly help. So if you want to reach out or respond to the email I'm going to send after this webinar, I'm happy to talk to you about your application details, and we can figure out which of our treatments might be the right fit.
Okay. Next is, how is NanoClear applied? So maybe you can explain that process a little bit.
Of course. So NanoClear is a liquid applied coating. Traditionally, we've applied it in a two-part wipe format. So there is a cleaning step. The stencil needs to start in a visibly clean nature. So if it's not a new stencil, but a used stencil, you'd want to put it through your stencil washer, get it nice and clean visually. And then our Part A treatment, which we utilize for both the wipe-on and the spray, is wiped onto the stencil and then rinsed off with water. And this removes any remaining unseen surface contaminants. And then for the NanoClear wipe, the Part B treatment is wiped onto the stencil for a minute, or if it is the spray treatment, it is simply sprayed onto the stencil. Both of these cure at room temperature, and that's essentially the application of NanoClear. It's very simple, takes about 5 minutes.
Okay, a couple more questions coming in. Can it coat and protect gold leaf gilding coating? So I know we do. We have treatments that we use on precious metal. So we have a business that we do that was. So we'll certainly be open to. We have treatments that do protect gold. Mario, do you want to add anything to that?
No, but that pretty much covers it. We have treatments that can functionalize gold. We can protect gold. Again, just like the first question with copper, I think the expectations and the exposure conditions will drive which technology we select and how likely it is that technology can help. So let's talk about the application in more detail and see how we can help out there.
Okay. Next question is a good one. Thanks for the information. Customer is asking how many cycle coatings can withstand. So I guess this relates to the durability of NanoClear. So we have many customers that will do 25, 30,000 prints with NanoClear on that. Basically, in some cases, they'll reapply it to that stencil or just get a new stencil. We've had other customers that have less than that, and sometimes what we find when we're in discussions with them is they're not kind of utilizing some of the best practices. They're using pretty abrasive paper like Green Monster paper and that type of stuff, and that's pretty abrasive. So it depends. If you utilize the best practices, I think we're seeing customers say 25, 30,000 cycles. And Mario, you want to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much covered it there. It's as long as you're utilizing the best practices, you can see an extremely long lifetime, 25 to 50,000 cycles.
Okay. All right, next one is, can you recommend a good eco wipe, and where can we get a test pan? So Mario in this presentation had a couple of examples of names of the good eco wipes that we've certainly tested in our labs, and they work good. So you'll be getting a copy of this presentation. The test pen can be bought from us, so we sell that. So Mario's info will be on the email afterwards. So if you have further questions about the wiper paper, he can give you that as well.
That's right, Edward. And the product number for the recommended wiper papers is contained in the presentation. It's also on our website. We have product numbers and company names for some of these recommended cleaning solution and wipe products as well.
Okay, another one for you, Mario. How do you ensure the coating thickness uniformity across the stencil?
So that's you are assured of the thickness uniformity because of the behavior of the technology. So it's not something that you need to worry about. So these are essentially what we call SAMPs, or self-assembling monolayers. So the technology itself is highly reactive to the oxide layer in the metal, but it doesn't react with itself. So what happens is you essentially end up forming a single molecular layer across the surface, and we get the 2 to 4 nanometer thickness measurement because the chain length of these molecules is about 2 to 4 nanometers thick, and they can't bond to themselves. They're extremely reactive and will bond to every oxide layer on the surface of the metal. And so you essentially get a single layer coating of material on the metal, and it's not possible for them to get any increase in thickness.
Yeah, so you'll see in the application process, the last step is essentially you take a dry wipe with a soft cloth across it, so any excess material is removed. And as Mara says, it's a self-limiting coating, so 2 to 4 nanometers, so you get incredible uniformity. And we do this in dozens and dozens of applications, and we've probably treated, gosh, hundreds of thousands of stencils and obviously billions of apertures, and we've never had someone come back and say this was a problem. So that was good. All right, next question. Can you use stencil cleaning machines without damaging the coating? The answer is yes. You're expected to continue to use your stencil cleaning machines. Obviously, you got to clean the top side of the surface. A recommendation is a pH neutral stencil cleaning, so it won't damage the treatment at all. Okay, do you have any plans to add color pigments to check the presence of nano coating on the surface? So this one's a challenge for us. We get this question because obviously some of our competitors have a gold kind of color in there. When you're at this kind of monolayer level, 2 to 4 nanometers, you don't have the ability to put a pigment in there. It would just sit on the top of the surface. So it's when you go down 2 to 4 microns, you can put a colorant in there, and you can see that. So we understand that's a bit of a challenge for some people. They prefer to be able to see it. So that's why we offer the dyeing pen. It gives you the ability to test the coating's integrity to do that. That's the option. Eventually we can figure out nano dyes that go into nano coatings. That would be something that we would certainly do. Okay, next one, Mara, I'm going to give to you. Building protection, limestone, marble, glass.
Yeah, so we have coatings that are outside of the scope of what we discussed in today's presentation that can coat all of limestone, marble, glass, depending on the technology and application type, and whether or not they're exposed to UV. So again, reach out to us. We'll talk about your application specifics and see if we can help you out with that application.
Okay, I've got one. I'm not sure I fully understand it. Will it be easy to remove a small area, then in parentheses, pad on a PCB? So I'm assuming it's talking about waterproofing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That it's probably a waterproofing question. So yes, so in terms of the NanoProof coatings for PCBs, they're easy to remove. You can utilize either a solvent or in some cases utilize abrasion to remove the coating. And similar situation with NanoClear. If there's a reason to have a section of NanoClear not coated, you could utilize a caustic cleaner or abrasion to remove a section of NanoClear from a stencil.
Okay. Next one. Is there any possibility that one of your wipes applied is not effective? I mean, defect, right? So I'm not exactly sure the question, but I think it's a very simple technology. So when we've had people say they're having hard times getting the kind of performance, it's generally because they're not following the directions of the cleaning step. It's a two-part wipe system. The part A is designed to basically remove any contamination from the stencil, and then you basically rinse that with DI water and you dry it, and then that's when the fresh oxide is exposed. So that's generally the case. If we've had an issue, we find out they're trying to skip the part A because they look at the stencil and they say, that looks clean. To them, it's a brand new stencil, so how can this has never been used. And cleanliness for us is much more on a molecular level than it is on just a visual level. So that'll be the case in terms of, so the treatment that goes into the wipes or the spray it works every time. So if you got a specific issue where you've had a problem, then just again reach out to us. We'll tackle that. Someone says, thank you, would like to buy some. Excellent. We'll send you links to that, or you can have it applied by your stencil house. Someone asked for the presentation. Okay, so then someone's question. I've seen many cases that after cleaning with Vigon chemical, coating is wiped off. is it so? We've got a number of Vigon treatments that we cleaning solutions that we recommend, and Mara, maybe you can include that in the email afterwards. But you know, we've worked with both Zestron and Kaizen, etc., to basically ensure that we've got good cleaning solutions. And in general, pH neutral ones are good. But Mara, maybe you can add to that.
Yeah, I'll add to that. It definitely depends on which cleaning solution. So we do know if you utilize a caustic cleaner, it is you can most certainly expect that you'll remove the coating. So if you're using an organic or a pH neutral, the coating should not be removed. If you're finding that it is, then we should get in touch and sort through that. It's possible that we found in the past that sometimes if there's remaining cleaning chemicals remaining on the surface of the stencil, essentially forming a film of cleaning chemical on top of the coating, it will then appear as though the nano coating is non-functional and not there, but it's really just below the remaining chemical residue, and it just needs to be rinsed away.
Okay, so you think it could be a rinsing issue of the Vigon sticking onto the surface?
Absolutely. Or if they're using a caustic, then there is a problem, and they need to move away from using that caustic material.
Okay. Someone says, thank you. UV salt, moss for limestone, prevent from oil, wine stains, prevent water, spots, super hydrophobic or glass. So there's a lot of different things in there. As I say, we have over 100 products. So reach out to us and to reach back to Mario and kind of let us know specifically what you're looking for. We've got oleophobic treatments, we've got hydrophobic treatments, super hydrophobic treatments. We treat a variety of substrates, etc., including the list. I don't think we've ever treated moss, but that's maybe I'm not fully understanding the question. So, but reach out to us on that. So with that, I think that's all the questions that we've got. We've run over a little bit, so apologies for that, but thank you for listening in. Okay, just one more came in. What could be the minimum, maximum life of wipes? So in the package, I think we give a 2-year kind of shelf life. On the stencil in of itself, it would be, once it's been applied, if it's sitting on the shelf, there's been no damage over time. Obviously, it depends on the number of prints, and so as I say, you can get 25, 50,000 prints if you use some of the best practices on that. So, and someone's asking for email, so Mario will be sending an email out to everybody after this, so you can reach back to him directly on that. So with that, I think, again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time. We want to wish you be safe during these very unusual times. We want to support you and hopefully make your products and your better. And so appreciate the time, and we will end the webinar. Thank you.